All right, we are back with Tyler. Now, Tyler, one of the biggest misconceptions that I think a lot of people have when it comes to professional photography and videography are the lack of opportunities. I think, depending on the city you live, it can definitely vary. But if you're in in sort of a bustling metro like Seattle or San Francisco or anywhere that has like a really strong small or medium-sized business industry, you're bound to find clients or agencies who need someone to film like promo videos or commercials for like a Facebook ad. From your perspective, how hard is it to find gigs and to be able to pay rent? And how has your career been sort of the part two of this is how has that and how has your career as a photographer been impacted by COVID and the lockdown?
Gotcha. So actually, I do have to say that one of my philosophies that I kind of like brought on to myself is back when I was living in Phoenix, it was kind of hard to break into the scene because most of the time people would just go with people I mean, it's still like that no matter where you go, but in Phoenix especially, people would just stick with the big name person, or they would stick with the actual agency that really does shitty videos just because they're cheaper or they don't want to take a chance on you. And so I started telling myself, well, if no one's going to give me the opportunity, I'm going to make my own opportunity. So that's why I just started to start shooting my own material, started to take more photos. And again, Phoenix is not a place for street photography because no one wants to be outside at 100 degrees.
Yeah, dude, same thing with Texas. I get it.
Yeah, you get that. Yeah. So I lucked out that when I was so at my old job, we were working in downtown Phoenix in the art district, which is I guess in a way it's it's like the artsy place. All the bohemians are there. All the even the not so nice people are there too. So,
yeah.
It's anyways. I took the opportunity on my lunch breaks to take my phone camera or any of my cameras to just go take photos around what we call Roosevelt Row, and just to show daily life out there. And then we moved into another, or that team, my team, we moved into another building in the actual downtown area. And again, during lunch, I would go walk around, even though it's hot, or even in the wintertime, I would just take photos and just build my opportunity, build my portfolio. And then that kind of gave me the idea of okay, when I started traveling a bit, I would try to take photos whenever we're in the city. And Seattle, obviously, I loved it up here, so that's why I moved up here.
Yeah.
I realized how much, how. So again, this is more this is more referring to just the idea of just I just made my own opportunity. So even though I was having a hard time, when I moved up here, I just kind of was all right, let's just go out every day, just take photos and meet people, just go look up production companies and say, hey, I just moved here, this is my reel, or here's my demo reel, here's my portfolio, let me know if you need any help or want to hire me. So It was just a lot of cold calling, and then taking the time, literally spending the rest of the 6 hours of the day just going around taking photos and video, and then just making my own content. I did a few video blogs for first couple months of moving up here, just because of well, let's just do something, so that way it shows, hey, I'm not just sitting around twirling my thumbs waiting for opportunities.
Yeah, it's putting yourself out there.
Yeah, and I lucked out that actually the start of 2020, I got a call from Nordstrom and from Cut.com. They're like, hey, can we hire you as one of our contractors? So Nordstrom, Nordstrom, I go, well, this is where I'll segue into COVID. But Nordstrom and Cut, I became one of their contract workers, and obviously they're they're dangling hey, we'll hire you as soon as we could get an open position.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID happened.
Oh man, it's like the perfect opportunity, and then this shit happens.
Yeah. So in that case, so ever since COVID happened, I've lucked out that I've managed to get a couple jobs from like remote jobs, like editing or pretty much, yeah, just editing really. But I'll be honest, it's not very it's a little thin right now because of people are still don't know how to adapt to this, especially if you're not as connected. And for me, I was just getting my toe in the water,
Yeah.
and yeah, it kind of was it was a little bit of a bummer, but I took a step back and said, you know what, maybe let's take this time to actually like reevaluate my skills right now and just make content, churn stuff out. And so I just been like literally every day at home. I just set up my camera, set up some lights, and then just film like me making like a pour over coffee,
Mm-hmm.
just make it look fucking beautiful. And
Yeah.
so I just actually I was just putting it together last night, so it should be out in the next couple of days.
Nice.
uh, oh, it's just doing something in daily life just to kind of uh, still feel creative. And then on top of that, I have a bunch of friends that I'm starting to teach photography to. We
Oh.
have our own like little we have like our own like little photo group that we chat with each other, and then we started it. And for me, I personally would love I like teaching people and motivating people to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
So the perfect opportunity to be like, hey, let's start doing some photo challenges while we're locked in, or let's start doing some video challenges. So we're doing a video challenge right now where we film. Well, they all don't know anything about film, so I'm teaching them some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I taught them like, all right, we're all gonna be making our own version of scrambled eggs, like actual like cook a thing of scrambled eggs, but think about your shots. Think about how do you want to set your camera and light it and such. And then we're all going to edit it together, or we're all going to take each other's footage and then edit it all together to be like one cohesive video.
Mm-hmm.
And this will be a great opportunity for you guys to learn a new hobby. So it's been very appreciative right there. So again, made my own opportunities right there.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Like that reminds me of when I had first started getting into photography, and I didn't even know that I wanted to like get into it. It was just sort of like, oh, okay, this is sort of a hobby. I used to go to San Francisco, and I would go uh I used to do like on the street photography, like going up to people and approaching random people who I thought were really stylish. And I would actually I started off going to my school interviewing people because I was part of the newspaper, and I ran the fashion little column. And I was like, oh, this is actually kind of fun. So I went to San Francisco, and I realized that my blog started to grow a little bit, and so I started to give out business cards. And so that's how I built my thing, like just constantly making content and constantly putting yourself out there. Like the more you create and the more you sort of like interact with other creatives, you'll make those opportunities happen one way or another, as long as you're always just like being tactful about the stuff that you create, and you're always trying to improve, and you're always trying to do things that are like also relevant within that industry. Because that's also the tough thing, is that like there are certain creative projects that you do for yourself, that's just like for yourself, and then there's shit that you want to do for your portfolio. Going back on creativity and art, I've seen your portfolio, the demo reel you had in your website, and the work you've done for The Cut, Grateful, and USA Today. I think a part of your skill set is really achieving that look, and that look that is also very commercial friendly and that's very brand approachable. And I know that a lot of this is a mix of editing and lighting, but I'd love to know sort of your quick tips for people who are just starting out and they're looking to create video content that's more brand friendly, that would be a little bit more, I guess, for lack of a better context, more viral. What small and sort of big changes would you advise to help people achieve a better look, and just like quick little things that they can do?
Definitely lighting is key. So if for those of you out there who want to really up your game, get get some really good lights. You don't have to spend like you don't have to spend an arm and a leg just to get a light kit. You can find a pretty decent one for like 30, 50 bucks. That's actually what my light kit was. But then even then I started again. I tried to do everything as cheap as possible too because I had no clue how I could get that stuff and what works and what doesn't. So what I actually started with was just like hardware clamp lights, like the work
Mm-hmm.
you can get go to any of the hardware stores. You'll find these like silver clamp lights. You just put a practical just light bulb in there. I just had like three of those, just hung them up wherever I could, and just to help light the scene, and it worked. Uh, so lighting is key. And then if you have any camera you have, like I said, you don't necessarily need to get a big professional $1,000 camera. You can get away with your iPhone, but if you really are trying to be a legit videographer, maybe find a decent camera. um, I, I would say don't light your scene first. Always always think about the lighting first before you think about the camera because I don't want to set my camera up for the shot and all of a sudden I light it up and now it's too bright. So I'm like, well, now I gotta readjust the camera and you just
Mm-hmm.
wasted X number of minutes just doing that. So lighting, set your camera up or again, good lighting, and then set your camera to the lighting, and
Mm-hmm.
then also have really good sound. Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't need it again. If you can get a, if you can have a, at least just buy a microphone for this. You can get one for like 30 bucks
Mm-hmm.
at most, or 30 bucks, and it'll be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it a lot better. Let's just say that, or even just use your smartphone. There's a audio devices on there or audio recording devices you can use. It just makes it that much more better. And because again, sound is half of the
Half the
video.
production, yeah.
Yeah. So those are the three main things. And then if you can, and then I think I guess for me, like what I've been teaching these friends of mine
Mm-hmm.
is just like if you can get good sound, good lighting, and then just have your image look really like pretty phenomenal. You definitely did like a majority of what makes a good video.
Awesome.
And yeah, even just with those few instructions and then just me like kind of like shrugging a little bit because we're really done a full on teaching session.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at some of my friends' material and it's like they did they did everything I asked for and it looks pretty darn phenomenal. And if you can't, like I said, if you can't afford a light kit, just shoot in the daytime at least.
Yeah, like
So
use natural light and shit.
yeah, I prefer natural light if anything, but
Same here.
it's just there a little bit goes a long ways. That's how I that's what I try to tell people as well. Like even if like actually right now I have two lights right now light kind of lighting me up at the moment. If I
Oh,
turned it off, yeah, here I guess
oh shit.
I can give you an example. Yeah, they're just like LED lights that I purchased. Big difference right here.
Damn.
So if I just turn on one, you know, looks a little bit more moody, and then two kind of fills me in a little bit more. So it goes a long way.
Very cool. Yeah, funny thing is you're actually talking about those clamp lights. I have those clamp lights right here for my backlights over here. So
Really?
I am all for the
So
clamp light gang.
actually, if you I remember at my old team, we actually uh, so we built our own. So this is my old team. It was like we were just a bunch of creatives who ran digital marketing and content creation.
Mm-hmm.
We had like a whole like sales team, IT and such,
Wow.
and video. And when USA Today stepped in, they get well, they were kind of giving us more like the HR aspect and like the payroll such. But then the following year, then they cut everyone except video, and the video people were there's only
Whoa.
like there's only like seven of us full timers plus a bunch of freelancers. So the seven of us looked at each other like, all right, we got 6 months that we got our giving ourselves 6 months to really convert, show our potential on the cheap. They moved us to a new office building where they gave us like a small little conference room
Mm-hmm.
and a bunch of like cubicle desks. So
Wow.
we turned that conference room, yeah, we turned the conference room into an actual studio. And the way we did it, we just set up the lights, bought, and then we bought like a gray well, they had a gray backdrop already,
Mm-hmm.
and then my creative director found these like they're yard colored yard lights, like literally you just they're just spotlights for your front lawn,
Huh.
and you have they come with a remote where you can change the color of over like 10 different combinations.
Oh,
And
snap.
so we bought like six of those for like I think it was like two for 30, and it was like but so we had like six of them, set them up, and everyone was like, "Oh, did you guys do that on a green screen?" No, it's a gray screen with the colors. Oh, what? It's like, oh, what's your studio like? It's literally just conference room, table, cameras, and lights, and then we set up some soundproofing. So,
Yeah, you can.
like I said,
Good.
you could get away with it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can do that on cheap. Like I have like, those clamp lights. I have like IKEA lights. Like, and I mean, obviously, I have like my softbox over here, but it's like this big
Yeah,
ginormous thing, and I don't want this like that big ass light shining on me. But
yeah.
yeah. Thanks. That's actually really good advice. I'm actually going to use some of that too. But again, Tyler, I would
Do the Amazon link.
the Amazon affiliate link. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I could geek out with you about tech all day, but again,
Yeah.
I've really thoroughly enjoyed our discussion. I'd love to have you back on. Before I let you go, what are you working on, Tyler, and where can we find you?
So right now, I currently don't have like any big projects right now. You can just find me on Instagram at TTang with three A's. That's my handle. Just follow me on Instagram. That's really like the best way you can find what material I'm working on. Other than that, on the outside of just my own material, I've been just working with friends, just creating our own content, just teaching them motivation and trying to like keep ourselves sane while in COVID lockdown. And actually, one project that I am pitching to one of these buddies is this: we're going to try to create our own like street photography affiliate team. So
Wow.
who knows if that happens in the future? So we're trying our best to see if we can like create our own like photo team on like Instagram. So if when it happens, I'll let you know.
Hey, whenever that happens, definitely let me know. Like if you guys want to, do a little, come over here and talk street photography, I'd love to do that. Because street photography for me is one of the passions that I've had for a very long time, and unfortunately, I don't know. Like I know other photographers, but like I don't know. I feel like I can't meet a lot of street photographers and people who actually who enjoy just walking around, just taking pictures of random people. So again,
Yeah.
the invite's always open. We'd love to have you back on,
Yeah.
Tyler. It was great talking to you. We'll definitely have to have you back on, man.
Thank you.
All right, man. Take care.
Yeah.
All
So,
right.
yeah.
See ya.